1 year ago at the start of 2021, I picked up a book, and that book just happened to be Take Your Shot by Robin Waite. It's still in my top 2 books ever. I say if there was an overall message, it was to say that you have value, you just need to know how to market it correctly and show people that you have the value. Don't devalue yourself. If you ever started a business and you're wondering why people didn't care or they didn't pay any notice to the new things that you put into the business and that you poured your heart into, you should really read this book. Just apply some of these principles I'm going to talk about. If you can't be asked to buy it, then you're in the right place too. So there are 3 main lessons that I took out from this that I'm going to explain. The first is know exactly what you want. Throughout the book, Robin Waite tells a story about a guy who works on a golf course. He works by the hour, he's overworked, underpaid, and he has young families to look out for. Despite all of this, when he speaks to the life coach, he actually already knows what he wants. So from that, ask yourself, what do you want? What will you see when you achieve it? And when are you going to achieve it? Now, if you just stop for a second, because I already know that what you do is imagine what it could be like, materialistically. Think of a nice house, financial freedom, not having to worry about money in any way, and of course a Lamborghini. That's in my case because I'm still a 7-year-old. But the next steps could be the foundation to achieving that financial freedom. I still haven't achieved it, so take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, but these are the lessons from Robert Waite's book. I mean, I put his words into my words, but just read the book. Instead of just hustling for a week or a few days or a couple of hours after having the motivation to work, slow down and actually work out what it would take to get there. How much money would it take to get to financial freedom? Whatever that is for you specifically. How long would it take to get to that position? How much would you need to make monthly to make that a reality? How much would you have to sell or provide to get there? By working out specifically what it would take to get to your goal, you have a really clear way of moving forward. And at least in my case, I really wasn't as far as I thought I would be. Number 2 is desire. How much do you want financial freedom? How much do you want success? In the book, Robin Waite says, if desire is weak, the execution will be too. And that's really touched on in this book. If desire is weak, execution will be too. Try to remember those words. So actually, I accidentally combined 2 and 3 together, but just to clarify, number 3, break down your goals. Try to be realistic. I hate that saying, but in this case, try to be realistic. Don't let that limit your goals, but what I mean by realistic is work out how to get there. Don't just say, I want a big house. If a Lamborghini costs $250,000, how much money would you have to be earning monthly to comfortably achieve that and have your dreamline buffer, which is about 1.3%. And I had some pretty big personal takeaways from it. I've always been really quiet in dealing with people and communicating with people, which really fucks me over in the industry that I'm in at the moment. You need to be confident and you need to be able to control the situation when it comes to business. Because after all, the customer is not always right. You are the professional, not them. They're coming to you for the resolution. They're coming to you for the result, for the solution, not the other way around. That really echoed with me because some people would try and take over and try and explain to you not so much what they want, but what they think that you're doing wrong. And when you know you're doing everything right, you need to remember that you're the one that knows what you're talking about. Another thing that I took from this is the worker who is a professional, who is trained, who's a really good worker, who can market themselves to be so much more, but they're limited by time. And this is what I see in so many books, and they talk about it. He changes from being paid by time, being paid for a result. I think the power of being concise and completely cutting the bullshit when you're communicating with clients can be a big selling point for you. And it can be more appealing to them. The example in the book was people turning up weekly for these lessons they were paying $30 for. And they were making next to no improvement, which is frustrating for them and for the what's his name in the book? And for the golf instructor. Despite loving his job and knowing his worth, he wasn't making any progress. But speaking to the life coach, he developed a way of changing his time in exchange for money for a result in exchange for money. He was packaging a result, something the client could look forward to and knew they would be better at, rather than just a single lesson almost indefinitely. Which are you more likely to go for? $30 an hour for a piano lesson every week, seemingly indefinitely. How long do you think you'd really go? There's no finish line and there's nothing really to work towards. Or $339 for an 8-week intensive piano course taking you from beginner to intermediate, focused on the style that you want to specialize in, or a genre that you'd like to be better at playing in. Obviously the time frames are exaggerated, but you get the point. The idea is to get the client to a place they already have in their head already. Get them somewhere, sell them a result. Solve a problem that they have and get them there guaranteed. If you understand your worth, you'll know this won't be a problem. Then they will want to invest in you. So number 2 is be clear about your offerings. Sell them a result or a solution, not a service. This is a personal point, but it's something that brought back to light something I remember when I first got into the industry. There's this really cool channel called The Future, and this bald guy, he always wears a hat. I don't know why, then just take it off. I want to see his shiny head. He talks about efficiency. The point being that over time, once you get better at a certain thing, you'll become more efficient. Like if you start bench pressing 40 kilos, in a few months, you'll be able to bench 60 kilos. If you start running, you can run 100 meters in 16 seconds. In a few months, you'll be able to run it in 14 seconds. In my case, it would take me 2 days to edit a wedding film. Now it only takes me 8 hours. You get more efficient over time. It's just how things work. You get better at something. When you get tied into exchanging your time for money, you actually get punished for being better. You need to charge based on the value that you can provide to someone. It doesn't matter if it takes you 30 days or 30 seconds. If the result's the same, you should get paid for the result. Number 4, charge for that value. And taking it one step further, if you think that you're offering value and that you are potentially undercutting yourself because your value has increased over time, as it probably will, don't be afraid to raise your prices. It's a classic 80-20. You may lose 20% of your customers, but the 80 that do stay will make up that money and will see the value in what you're offering them. These 80% are the least troublesome, and they are the people that you want being your clientele. Number 5, don't be afraid to raise your prices. So it looks like I actually didn't finish the rest of the script, but that was all I wanted to say. So here we are again. If you want to see me embarrass myself in 4K for 20 minutes, click there. Or if you want to look at something a little bit nicer, I click somewhere there, I think. Yeah, that's probably better.